The prominent Australian sport participant that I have chosen for my case study is Australian fast bowler Ryan Harris. I chose Harris as I have watched him play many test matches and ODIs over the last couple of years, yet I didn't know much about him and thought that this was a great opportunity to learn about him. This autobiography was written by Ryan Harris himself, with help from Stephen Gray and Jason Phelan. The title of his book is RHINO, Ryan Harris, and was published in 2014. Sport delivery systems are put in place specifically along an athlete's career path to enhance and refine that athlete's attributes overall. They can be from local, state and national levels and are usually utilised by young athletes with promise, or sometimes athletes are put in there just for the numbers. We need to examine these delivery systems to properly know, firstly, if they are producing world-class athletes, secondly, that average athletes that can get better aren't being wasted, and thirdly, if more needs to be done so that the athletes in these programs can excel. This analysis of Ryan Harris's autobiography will begin with a discussion of all of the various sport delivery systems that Ryan Harris himself experienced during his youth, early 20s, and the present day, focusing on some of the people that helped his development as a player and in society, such as Darren Lehmann, or as the Australian cricket team know him, Buff. It will include a timeline of Harris's major sporting accomplishments rounded to a top 10. It will also include a list of the major sporting competitions that Harris was involved in, such as the IPL, which was the Indian Premier League, and the T20 Big Bash League in Australia. Also, an analysis of Harris's understanding of the sports delivery systems he was involved in will be undertaken and evaluated. Ryan Harris first became majorly involved in the sport of cricket due to his older brother's influence. His older brother, Gavin, was already quite a few years older than Ryan at the time when at a local cricket match, whilst Gavin's team was batting, Ryan was picking up people's cricket bats and wanting a ball thrown at him. Throughout Harris's career, he has played for many teams and clubs such as Australia, Deccan Chargers in India, the Kings 11 Punjab in India, Queensland Bulls, the South Australia Redbacks, which was his first professional cricketing team, Surrey in England, Sussex and also Yorkshire, also in England. In his junior years he played for local South Australian clubs, such as Salisbury Cricket Club under the coaching of Peter Badgett. He also played some Ray Sutton Shield matches in under-13s divisions. By the time he was 10, he had been playing in his school's first 11 side, and then moved up in the grades of Salisbury Cricket Club and was given an exemption to play the grade above the school's 11. He was then playing in the SACA, or South Australian Cricket Association grade competition, which would become a major influence for Harris in years to come. When he was only a 20-year-old, he gained his first professional contract with SACA, which was valued at around $12,500 a year. It wasn't exactly much compared to now, but back then it was a big thing for a young man of his age at the time. He was in the Redback squad, and this was when he really met Darren Lehmann and other characters like him, which ultimately helped shape Harris's attitude towards the game more than anything. This would also be beneficial to Harris as he stayed with the Redbacks for some time before moving to the Queensland Bulls, where his development as a cricketer took another turn, mainly in the form of mateship and a feeling of team spirit. In his autobiography, Harris sometimes said that when he played against the Queensland Bulls, he always admired how they stick together as a team, even if they were losing. After this point in his life, his cricketing career began to take form, as seen in this timeline of Harris's top 10 sporting accomplishments. In 2000 and 2001, he made his List A debut. In the 2001-02 season, he made his first-class debut. In 2007, he made his first 2020 debut. In 2009, he made his first one-day international debut for Australia. And then in 2010, he made his 2020 international debut for Australia. In 2010-2011 season, he made his international test debut for Australia. In 2013, in the Ashes series, he was the man of the series test, which was shared with other players in the team. In the 2013-14 season, he was the man of the match in another Ashes series in Australia against England. In the 2013-14 season, he reclaimed the urn for the Ashes series for the first time after losing it in the last series to England. In the 2014-15 season, he began working as the assistant coach for the Australia A squad, mainly focusing on rehabilitation with young athletes, which was a major concern for him when he was young. During his playing time for Salisbury Cricket Club and the Sucker grade teams, he found that his main focus of development was with his fielding, with many people telling him that one day he may be fielding for a few days, so he'd better learn to enjoy it and also to excel at it. He spent most of his time playing in the Sheffield Shield competition, which was a limited overs competition allowing 6 Shield matches to be played in the lead up to the final 2 tests of a season, without any change in format for players to negotiate. These 2 test matches used to only be 4 days, but have now been extended to replicate an actual test match to 5 days. Harris also played in the Ray Sutton Shield matches in the under-13s division, a competition in the Sucker. For this initial season, 12 clubs, including Edwardstown and Salisbury, which was Harris's club, were split into 4 groups. At the conclusion of the minor round matches, the winners in each group played in semi-finals to determine the teams to compete in the final. Today, the Ray Sutton Shield competition acts as an introduction for young cricketers to grade cricket. Clubs are split into 2 geographical zones, with games exhibiting the best primary school cricketers from each zone. 6 rounds have been scheduled on Sunday afternoons, including a semi-final round, and provides players with a chance to utilise the best grade club facilities. I believe that Ryan Harris has a good understanding of the various sports delivery systems he was involved in, as for many years before he made his international debuts for Australia, he was still heavily integrated in his national sporting delivery system for a number of years. This gave him a greater knowledge of how this system worked and how it was applied to not only him but also the other cricketers in his team or teams at the time. Whilst conducting this analysis of his autobiography, I learnt that the sport delivery systems that Harris was involved in catered to his individual needs, such as having a personalised doctor, physiotherapist, and bowling coach. I learnt that every athlete involved had their own personal preparation regime as well as a team-oriented one. I didn't know that players in these systems had personally catered programs, which was a very big surprise to me. I think that these sport delivery systems are an effective way for enhancing individual skills in their own way and own time, especially seen in Ryan Harris's case where he only made his international debut around his 30s, instead of where usual players are around their 20s. He's really only hit his peak in his late 30s, which isn't too great for a bowler, but he's made it work. In conclusion to my case study, I do believe that Ryan Harris has a sound and also developing understanding of the sports delivery systems he was involved in from his youth through to the present day. Some of these systems include the Sucker, which was his first professional cricketing contract. His local clubs as a young boy, such as the Salisbury Cricket Club, where he learnt all of the basics of cricket such as bowling, fielding and batting. These 2 clubs were ultimately the mainstays in Harris's development as a cricketer and begun preparing him for other forms of the game, not just Shield cricket and weekend cricket, but Test cricket and T20 cricket. His career is an impressive showing of what these cricket delivery systems can do for an athlete to help them progress and be at the top of their game, or in Harris's case, at the top of the Australian cricket game.